Welcome to the Runitback Analytics platform. In this video, I'm going to show you how to get data from our Discord bot. Now, our Discord bot queries are split up into three separate parts. The first part is !RIB, which is pretty much just telling the bot that you're speaking to it. The second part is the name of a report. By default, all of our data is split up into a bunch of different reports, and you have to pass in the report that you want in order to get data. And the third part are optional parameters that you can pass in. Normally, you'll be using more than one of these parameters, and what they'll do is they'll filter the data down based on the report that you pass in. So for example, the most basic report that we have is the kills report. If I type RIB kills, it will just simply return the amount of kills that any given player or team has. So for example, let's pass in a team using the teams parameter. I type in dash, the parameter's name, which is team, and then the team that I want to get data for. In this case, let's just get the amount of kills that each player on TSM has. And you can see here, it'll return it. Now, I can pass in multiple teams by simply adding another team at the end. So for example, Gen G Esports. It'll also give data back for them. And all of this data is going to be within the last 3 months of tournament play. We don't have access to specific ladder matches or anything like that, or matchmaking games or anything. It's just custom games that were played for tournaments within the last 3 months. Now, if I want to see a list of parameters that the kills report can actually provide, I can type in RIB kills ? And you'll see that it returns all the different parameters we can pass in. We can filter these kills down by specific weapons, we can filter it down by maps, by agents, and much, much more. Let's take a look at a more complex report. So for example, I'm going to type in RIB reports to get a full list of all the reports, and I'll zoom out so you can see it a bit better. And you can see here we have a bunch of different reports right now that are supported. One of the most popular ones that we see teams using is the team kill locations report. Now let's go ahead and find out a bit more about this report by typing in the name of the report and question mark. Over here you can see what it returns, a map overlay showing a team's kills locations, and then all the parameters we can pass in. We can see that the team parameter is required and the map parameter is required. So let's go ahead and try that out. So we can pass in team kill locations. We can pass in a team. Let's do TSM again, and let's pass in the map bind. And we can see here, it'll pretty much return us just a map of where every single player on this team got a kill for all the data we have of them, which is the last 3 months of tournament play. So this is pretty cool, but I want to filter this data down a bit more. So I can go ahead and, for example, let's try and filter it down to TSM's last game that they played. So in order to get that, I'm going to have to do a couple of things. We can see here that this will take in a match parameter in which we have to pass in the match ID in order to filter it down to just one match. In order to get the match ID, I have to find the event they played in and then the match that they played in afterwards. So we can do that by using first the events report. So I can type in !RIB events, pass in the team TSM to filter it down to all the events that TSM has played in. So we can see here that the last event they played in was the VCT North American Challenger #2, and we can get the event ID. Now, if we look at the matches report, because we want to now get the match ID from that event that TSM played in, we can pass in the team TSM. We can then pass in the event ID, which we just got from this report, which is 258, which is right over here. And that will give us a list of matches that TSM played on that event. So for example, we have some games here. We can see this one was on Icebox of TSM versus D2E Gold. And the games look like they were pretty short, but let's go ahead and take this match. We can see the match ID for this match was 10496. So now let's go ahead and get our previous query. We can change the map to Icebox because they played on Icebox, and we can pass in the match ID that we want. And we can see here now all of our data is specifically from that specific match, and it's a bit easier to see. We can also go ahead and specifically filter it down based on the round. So for example, if I just wanted to see the results of the first round for every kill that was gotten, we can see here that drone was actually the only one that got a kill on the first map. Now, or on the first round of this match. Now we can also pass in a parameter called location and pass in the value both to see where the person was that drone killed. Now, this is pretty cool because it allows you to filter down match by match, so you don't have to go and watch the VOD to see what happens in a game. This is just one example of how you can break a report down into a really minute detail. Now, I know you probably don't want to take the time to read through the documentation for every single report that we have, which is why we also have a RIB examples command. So you pass in the report name and you can type in EX or example, and it will pretty much give you a couple of different example commands that you can run just to get a feel of the type of data that a single report will return back to you. And you can do that for every single report that we have. But yeah, that's pretty much the TLDR on how to use the bot. If you need any help at all, don't hesitate to reach out to one of the admins or executives in our Discord. We have an analytics general chat as well, where you can talk with other people who have used it and sort of see what they've been doing. And yeah, a lot of these reports were made based off suggestions that you guys had. So if you guys have any more suggestions, don't hesitate to let us know, and hope you guys find a lot of value using the bot.